afternoon. Welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. Good morning. If you are in the part of the world where it's morning, good evening. If you're in the part of the world where it is evening, this is Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. So today is going to be an interesting session. Who is with me? Who is with me today? Do let me know that you're here. All right, so we are live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we are live on LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay, let me just confirm the LinkedIn. Every other. Okay, we are live on LinkedIn and we are live on YouTube. So you can catch us just about anywhere. All right, welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on this journey of growth, and I remain your personal guide on this journey of growth. Um, yeah, we were supposed to have a guest today, but something came up, so she's not available. So let me do a recap as I always do. And thank you before I go on. Thank you watches this program live. Thank you, everyone that connects later on and watches the replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you to no end. I am always appreciative of the fact that you take out time to join me. I really appreciate it. I know you can do so much with your time. You have a lot of things you can do, but you choose to join me for this 1 hour to share one or two things, to listen to the little thing that I have to say. And I am grateful. Welcome the uncle um, on Instagram, Alex Obezua. You're welcome. I'm glad you're here today. Um, okay, just going around to see if I can who I can welcome. All right, so please, as you join, do let me know that you have joined. Say hello, say something so that I will know that you are here. Okay, so let me do a recap. As I was saying, this for the past 3 months, we have been talking about habits that can help us, have a productive year. And in the first month, the general theme that held together all the things we talked about in that first month was starting strong. Excuse me, laying the foundation for effective habits. That was what the theme for month one was. And in that month, we talked about the first session was the science of habits. That's how habits are formed and why they matter. And we explored that the brain forms habits through cues, routines, and rewards. You receive a cue, you carry out the routine you usually do, and you get the reward. And because the brain thrives on patterns, once you don't keep to that pattern, the brain will look for how to get the reward that it always wants. That is the ultimate thing. Um, yeah, the takeaway from that session was that your brain craves patterns, and what you repeat, you will reinforce. So once you keep repeating something, you will definitely reinforce it. The next session in that series, we talked about bad habits. We looked at practical steps to stop what's holding you back. And we picked one or two habits and we looked at each of them to see how you could um, break the bad habits. And the major takeaway is that you don't just break a habit, you replace that habit. Because of that cue, routine, rewards pattern in the brain, if you don't replace the bad habit you're trying to break, you will just go back to the habit. Even if you put a break, a temporary break on it, you don't actually break it fully unless you have replaced it. So the takeaway was you don't just break a bad habit, you replace it. It's essential that you replace it. The next session that we had Coach Ife come and talk to us in that session, and we talked about atomic habits. in action. That is the power of tiny, consistent steps. Being able to do, the little things, the micro changes in your life, and being consistent in those micro changes. We agreed, and the key takeaway from that session was small is powerful when it is consistent. So when you keep doing the little things over and over, it becomes big. It becomes, in fact, massive. The change becomes very noticeable. When you're doing the small thing, it doesn't really look noticeable. It doesn't look like it's much, but it compounds. All right. The next session we talked about morning routines. And we had another guest, Jenny from Mike Alicha, that day, spoke to us on how to start right to win the day. And we agreed that it's important that we create a morning routine, a routine that deals, with our emotions, with our spiritual life, with our physical alignment, is essential because it sets the pace for how the rest of our day goes. So that was the major takeaway from that session too. The way you start sets the tone for how you finish the day. If you start off the day scattered with chaos, generally your day will be chaotic. It's rare that you start your day in chaos and then somehow it works out that the day is now perfect. Please, I hope you can hear me. I didn't even do a sound check on Facebook. Let me just do that quickly. Okay, so that is um, that session. Then month two, the theme for month two was building discipline. We have looked at the habits. We looked at starting strong. Now you need to build discipline into what you are doing, and that's the strength of consistency and focus. That's what we looked at in month two. The first session was talking about building consistency generally, why showing up matters more than motivation. Many a times, we talk about motivation and we like to think that motivation is it. That is all. You're motivated, but many a times consistency matters more. Showing up is more important than just being motivated, because motivation can wane. It truly can. It can wane. Um, the takeaway from that session was that motivation fades. Consistency is built by commitment. Just showing up every day. It might look like it's not much, but you will find that in time, it does have a huge impact that you keep showing up. Okay, so the next thing we talked about with mindset habits, training your thoughts for long-term success. And we addressed, limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, and renewing the mind with truth is essential to train your thoughts. Otherwise, you will always self-sabotage. You will always self-sabotage if you don't train your thoughts. If you allow your thoughts to run wild and you allow the limiting thoughts that we all have them. It's not one person, we all have them. We always have this thing that tells us, at the back of our minds, you can't do this, or you're not, good enough, or whatever, for this or for whatever. Don't allow that voice be the voice. Well, I said the last voice. Let me put it that way. Don't allow that voice to be the last voice. Don't allow it to be the last voice. Let the last voice be the voice that says you can. Let that be the last voice. Okay. Sorry. Terry, thank you so much. I can see you on Facebook. I can see you, Mrs. Regina Obiago. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on Facebook. Okay, so that was training your thoughts, mindset habits. Our next session was time management habits. And we brought back Coach Ify on this again. Time management habits, we discussed about planning systems, we discussed about time blocking and eliminating distractions. And we agreed that that is our takeaway from that session, was that you don't manage time. you manage yourself within time. So, because many a times we think, oh, time management, I have to manage my. No, the problem is not managing time. Time is time. 24 hours is 24 hours. It doesn't change. It's not variable. What is variable is you, is how you manage yourself within that 24 hours that you have. So, that day we looked at how to master schedules, how to prioritize, and how to highlight. How do I put what we talked about? How to make your time, the time that you have, be purpose driven, not just I have this to do, I have to this, I have this to do, I have this to do. Those things that you have to do, are they in alignment with your purpose? That helps you prioritize, that helps you be able to block time, that helps you be able to eliminate distractions. So that was what we talked about in that session. The next session we had goal setting and habit alignment. That is how to build habits that serve your vision. We explored long-term vision, how this should shape your short-term actions. Many of us, we have things that we do, but because they are not really aligned, we have our habits, we have our actions, we have our to-do list, we have the things that we plan to do, but a lot of times we don't really sit down and truly align those actions, those activities, those habits with our long-term vision, with our long-term goals. So the takeaway from that session was that when your habits match your vision, your life becomes purpose driven. So you have to ensure that your habits, they match your vision. Don't just imbibe habits, from the air. Let me use that expression. All right, that was session 109 actually. Session 110. Okay, we have entered month 3 here now. I didn't even realize that. Anyway, session 110, we talked about evening routines, how to end the day well and set up for. Okay, no, we have not. Okay, yeah. No, something is wrong. Yeah, evening routine. That's what we talked about. That's part of month 3. Evening routines, how to end the day well and set up for tomorrow's success. Yes, and that was last week, and I told us that that session was for me because I've struggled with having an evening routine generally. I've found it difficult to stick to. Let me not even say find it, because I have found I just can't stick to it. I just can't stick to an evening routine. And we said that an evening routine generally reduces stress. Generally, it helps us improve sleep, and it sets us up for the success of the next day. Because one of the things that we do is to plan our top 3 priorities for the next day, our top 3 goals during that evening routine. And we also said that it's also a time for us to spiritually wind down, a time for us to declutter our mind so that our mind can heal while we sleep. That is one of the beautiful things about the human minds, is the fact that it's able to self renew, self regulate itself, self heal. But it needs time to do that. It needs space also to do that. So when we have an evening routine, a wind down routine in the evening, we prepare our brains, our minds to be able to self heal, self regulate, prepare itself for the next day. Um, Part of the things that is part of our winding down routine is, prayer. Do a review of the previous of that day, not previous, now it's in the evening. Do a review of that day, what went well, what didn't go well, what are you grateful for. Do some journaling, listening to some soft music, something that causes your brain to wind down and not be on hyperactivity. I know many people that find it difficult to shut down their brains, to shut off their brains. But when you have an evening routine, it helps the brain calm down, even if it doesn't shut off completely. We can't shut off our brain completely, but we can slow it down enough for it to heal, enough for it to recover itself. So that is what an evening routine is all about. That was our last week's session. And I promised myself that I will start an evening routine. And I did. I cannot say I tried. I did. I tried to have a 10-minute session. I think I even wrote it down. I hope I can find where it is. Um, just a quick 10 minutes. I think so. Let me just confirm if it's on this phone. A quick 10-minute winding down routine in the evening to just help me calm down. Like I said, it's not easy for me to do that simply because there are a lot of moving parts to my day these days. A lot of moving parts. I don't have, will I say, 100% control over. Uh, I can't find it for some reason. This is strange because I'm good at writing things. I was so sure I wrote this thing down. I was so sure I wrote it down, but I can't find it. I was so sure I wrote it down. Anyway, well, just a quick 10 minutes routine that helps me wind down. Hmm. This is interesting. I'm so surprised, honestly. I am so surprised that this is not written down somewhere. I'm checking all my notes and I can't find it. I can't find it. Anyway, well, so it was just a short 10 minutes routine to just calm me down, which included, yes, I do a review of what went well, what didn't go well in my day. But it's like a quick review because the time is not, I don't have that much time really. But one thing I started doing also was, because I lead a couple of groups, I need to send reports, I need to prepare for the next morning. So I try to get all those things done before 9, before 9, no matter what is happening. I do my best and I've been succeeding this past week. Before 9, all those groups are all sorted, all the reports sent, all the morning messages prepared, and all those things done. Then between 9:30 and 10, somewhere in there, I do my 10 minutes calm down. It's honestly, it feels so, I don't even know the word, but it's like, that's the way I can express how it feels to do that routine. When you just sit down, do a quick review. I don't even actually do a review per se. What I do for sure is I just do a quick gratitude. What am I grateful for in the past day? This day that I just went through. What are the things I'm grateful for? Both the things that went well and the things that didn't go well. And I found that that helps me. Okay, since this did not go well today, tomorrow I'll have to adjust for it. Yeah, so, and then I either put on music or something. Most times it's music, and then I can lie down. So I'm praying I continue it because my problem is not starting this evening routines. I've started before. My problem is remaining consistent with the evening routines. All right, so that is a recap of what we have done so far. This series on This whole series will be ending next week. Yes, I believe so. By the upper week, we'll start a whole new, it will be a continuation somehow, to be a follow through on what we have been doing. But, this whole time we're talking about our habits and what have you. So, today we're talking about the role of accountability in habit building. That's how to stay on track. The role of accountability in habit building, how to stay on track. Now, I saw this quote and it says, accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. And the quote is by Bob Proctor. And I believe it's true, because the definition of accountability is the act of being answerable to another person or group for the progress or lack thereof toward the stated goal or habit. That is the act of being answerable to another person or group for the progress or lack thereof toward the stated goal or habit. So accountability is having someone else hold you and ensure you're making progress. You're answerable to another person. It could be a group of persons, it could be one person, but you're answerable to that person. And you're not just answerable for the progress, for the things you have done well. You're answerable for, the lack of progress, that you didn't do what you were meant to do. All of this is part of the accountability. So many of us, we start habits, we're excited, we start a new habit, we're going to do this, we're going to be more active, we're going to be healthier, we're going to read more, we're going to do courses all over the place. And we start with excitement. But along the line, we begin to struggle to stay on course. Just like I've said, my evening routine, I start evening routines, but to stay on course has been my problem. To keep doing it consistently. So many of us are in that same place. But I have found that accountability helps to transform your good intentions into consistent action. And I will give us two examples here before I go on. One, there was I had one of my mentees that he wanted to read books. He wanted to read a book a month, if I can remember the details now. Wanted to read a book a month. And so to achieve this, he sent me one, a list of the books he wanted to read. And then um, I can't remember what else he sent to me. Now I'm trying to remember the details. But when he sent me that list, I said no. Sending me a list of books you want to read over the next 1 year is not going to make you read those books. What I need from you is how many chapters you're going to read every day. So pick up the first book for the month. How many chapters, how many pages of this book will you read every day? At the end of the week, you send me a summary, a review of, did you read the chapters you were meant to read? Did you not read the chapters you were meant to read? Why didn't you read the chapters? And then at the end of the month, we review again to be sure. No, 2 weeks, sorry, it was 2 weeks. Then at the end of the month, to ensure that you are not missing it. With that, this young man read, some months he read 2 books. Some months he read 2 books. Me, if I was marveled. So when you have someone that holds you accountable, someone that um, keeps you in line, let me use that word. Usually, let me not say always, because some people still, upon holding them accountable, they will still do what they want to do. But generally, when you have someone that holds you accountable, welcome Vine Aesthetics on Instagram, Lady Burrow, you're welcome. Balanced Living Consulting, I can see you. Thank you for joining me today on Growth Habits. So I was talking about accountability. And when you have someone that holds you accountable, you achieve more actually. But of course, there are still some people that upon holding them accountable, they'll be like, what is it? Can you not leave me alone? I've had such mentees. They'll be like, I beg, ma, it don't do. You understand? You're like, please, it's okay. I don't want again. But generally, when you have someone that reminds you, how are you doing, or asks you, how are you doing, how far have you gone, even just the fact that you have to report to that person makes you do the needful. Now, the second example I want to give is myself. I belonged to a mentorship committee, Model Women Foundation, Model Women Mentorship program. And one of the things was that we read a book a month too. And several times, the fear, in quotes, now I'm using the word fear in quotes, the fear of having to tell Pastor Favor that I did not read my book made me read it. Because at the end of each month, he would write like a review, a report on the book you read. So it wasn't even just that, I will write that review. It's having to not write that review. Let me use that, that thing. That kept me reading the book. I remember one particular time I was so busy with other things. I was so engaged, I forgot to read my book. I forgot. I kept putting it off. Let me not say I forgot. I kept putting it off. I will read tomorrow. I will read tomorrow. I will read tomorrow. And the next thing I saw in our group was the notice to send in your book review. And I've not even opened my book. This is not that I've read, I've not opened. Do you know that I didn't sleep that night? I picked up this book and read it throughout the night because I couldn't imagine not sending in my report. So you see, that's what accountability does for you. I sent in my report, I pulled an all-nighter, read the book, submitted my report. All right, so yes, that is what accountability does for you. There are some recent research and findings that supports the fact that accountability really improves your productivity, makes you more efficient, more productive. And let me just read some of them for us. A 2019 study by the American Society of Training and Development found that you have a 65% chance of completing a goal if you commit to someone. That chance jumps to 95% when you have a specific accountability appointment or check-in. 95%. See the jump from 65% to 95%. So you see, that's like I said, the example I gave of my mentee, because he knew that every 2 weeks he will have to tell me how far he has gone on the book. He's going to send it as an email to me or through WhatsApp, whatever, but I need it written down. He read many more books than he thought he would. He read more books than he had planned. So having that specific accountability appointment or check-in helps improve your the possibility or the probability of you achieving your goals. Then a second study, this is called social expectations theory, and it says that people are more likely to follow through on behavior when they believe others are watching, or when the identity is shaped by a community's expectations. Now, this one is a double-edged sword, this particular social expectations theory, because yes, yeah, people usually follow through when they think someone is watching, but it also can make you become a people pleaser. The aim is not to be a people pleaser, just to do so that people will be happy, so that people will be pleased with you. The idea is for just that fact that someone is watching your activities will help you achieve more. All right, so what are the types of accountability that we can have? What are the practical models of accountability that we can have? that will help us in achieving our goals. Oh, okay. Coach Ify says she's just joining and she's asking what is the topic. We're talking about the role of accountability in habit building. The role of accountability in habit building. Chibike Jamaica, I can see you. Thank you. Cosman, I can see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you're here today. So we're now looking at the forms of accountability. What are the ways that we can be accountable? What are the practical models? Let me use that expression of accountability. Okay. One is peer accountability. And this is where you have a partner or a check-in buddy, someone that you can just, a friend that you can just check in with, and maybe every week or something, have a weekly review call with the person. This peer accountability, your friend, someone that is, on the same, I don't want to say level with you, but on the same level, your peer, your friend. So that is the first type of accountability. There's somebody else that maybe the person is even doing the same thing as you. For example, you have your gym buddy, the person that goes to the gym with you or that reminds you also to go to the gym, both of you on the same health journey to be healthier, to be more active. So that person is your gym buddy. That is peer accountability. Then we have group accountability, where you join, like for example, a Bible study group is a group accountability. It's an example of group accountability. Or you join a mentorship program, a group mentorship program. Or, for example, going back to the being active model, you join a community, a workout community, that this is a group something. It's not one-on-one. You don't report to one person, but that group also holds you accountable because you're supposed to show your progress somehow on the group. So that is group accountability. Then we have public accountability, which some people do. And this is a situation where they post their progress online. I remember I was watching a movie recently where a lady, um, I've forgotten the name now, the name is escaping me, but where a lady said she had cancer. And so she was now posting updates of, she went for treatment. She didn't feel good today. This happened, that happened. So people do such things. They post their progress online. And then in that situation, the whole social media network, they hold you accountable because you have to post. So if you have to post, you have to show some progress. So that is how you're held accountable. Some people also have like, what I call it, a group journal, where you can journal, you can write maybe like in a platform, and the group or the community can have input into what you're saying. And then we have spiritual accountability. Um, Spiritual accountability as your mentors, prayer partners, um, spiritual leaders, counselors, guiders, or whatever. The the one-on-one mentorship is a form of group. Well, it's not even group, it's actually peer accountability. When you have a coach, when you have a mentor, it's a form of peer accountability, but it goes beyond the normal, it's just a friend. Because this person is now someone that has either gone this journey, has gone ahead of you, is not quite on the same level as you. Yagazio Biohath, I can see you. Thank you for joining me. Today we are talking about accountability in building habits, the role of accountability in habits building. That is our topic. And we are looking at the different forms of accountability. This does not mean that, this is the end all. There's nothing else. But, this gives us an idea of some of the forms of accountability that we can have. Remember that I said that having like a mentor is kind of under peer accountability, but the difference is that the person you're checking in with is not your body, is not your body, is not your friend. The person is probably is a little above you in this journey. They have gone this path that you're going, they have gone it already, or they have more insight into it. All right. So these are some of the basic forms of accountability. Now, why does accountability fail? Because nothing that is perfect. Many a times it fails when even when you have accountability. And some of the common reasons why it fails is one, the goals that are set, they are vague. When you set, for example, the example I gave us of my mentee, he gave me a goal of I want, his goal was even specific, it wasn't even really vague. But many a times we give such broad, let me use that word, broad goals. He said he wants to read a book a month. That his own, like I said, his own was even more specific. But because I know that if you don't bring goals down to what will I do each day, sometimes it gets lost. So I had him break it down to how many pages of this book do you intend to read each day? Some days he did not hit the number of pages, yes. Some days he exceeded the number of pages. But the point is, because I had broken it down, that didn't allow the goal to be vague. I didn't allow the expectations of what he wanted to achieve to be unclear. Because I broke it down, it became easier for him to manage. So if he's supposed to read 5 pages a day, depends on the book he was reading at each point in time. He would look at the total number of pages in the book and then divide it over the 1 month. That tells him how many pages he must read each day. So when he's approaching the 2 week mark, when he knows he's going to report back to me and he's behind, he will find how to meet up. So having vague goals usually causes accountability to fail, because what is the person holding you to? It's too broad, it's too vague. You need to make it specific. Yeah. Another thing that causes accountability to fail is let me call it weak partnership. The person that is holding you accountable is an enabler. The person is not challenging you. This happens, yes, a lot in peer accountability, because maybe the person is like on your level or something. So they are not able to challenge you. They're not able to ask you the tough questions. They're not able to insist on getting feedback or true progress from you. So weak partnership um, causes accountability to fail most times. Weak partnership. So it's essential to make sure that whoever is your accountability partner is someone that can tell you, look, you're supposed to have read 3 pages, and say, oh, my dear, I was so busy. And the person will say, no, busyness is not the cause. It's not the reason you failed. It's not the reason you missed your mark. The person will tell you the hard truth. The person can point out this are the things you could have done, and you'd have still read your 3 pages. You understand? So you need someone that can truly hold you accountable. You don't need a weak partnership. Weak partnership causes accountability to fail. And then no structure is another major thing that causes accountability not to work. You just say, I have an accountability partner, but there's no framework for it. There's no structure. There is, like I said, going back to the example of my mentee, he knew that every 2 weeks he had to report. There was a structure, and not even just vague report. I need it written down. How many pages of this book did you read? What did you learn? What did you learn in those pages that you read. So there was a structure. There was not inconsistent follow up. Every 2 weeks, your report had to come in. So structure is another thing. Lack of structure is another thing that makes accountability to fail. So which means that when you do put in the structure, when you do put in um, um, the structure, you will it will work. Accountability will work. So looking at these common pitfalls, we can see that it's essential to have an accountability partner that will challenge you. It's essential. Otherwise, the accountability will not achieve its purpose. To not achieve its purpose. And it's also essential to have a structure to the accountability. It can't just be I'll check in when I can. No, no. I'll check in when I can doesn't work because it's easy to just blow it off and say, okay, I said I'll check in when I can, I couldn't. So, you know, so let there be a structure to the accountability. It helps. Now, I'm just going to check the time. Okay. Let me give us some how to set up an effective accountability system. Number one is to identify, find a trusted accountability partner. Find a trusted accountability partner. Someone that shares your values, um, someone that shares your long term direction. They might not necessarily be going in that same direction, maybe, but it helps when the person is going in the same direction. And then preferably let it be someone who is either already walking on that path that you're walking or who is maybe a few steps ahead of you. It helps because they can now, point out the pitfalls that are in the road to you as you're coming on that journey. So identify a trusted accountability partner. Look for that person that will tell you the truth, that will look you in the face and tell you you're not doing well. I remember that one of the things I did years back was to have story my boss do a review for me of me. I called my boss and I was like, please tell me the kind of person I am. And I said, be brutally honest. Be brutally honest. Don't sugarcoat it. And I could ask him because I knew that he would be brutally honest. I knew that he would be someone that would tell me the truth as is. I needed to hear it that way. So, in looking for an accountability partner, look for someone that not just shares your values, shares your long term direction, someone that will tell you the truth. Someone that will tell you the truth. Sometimes, we need to hear the hard truth. We don't just need someone that will sugarcoat it. All right. Then, after you have found this person, you need to define the structure. After you have found this person, the structure has to be defined. Are we having weekly check-ins? Are we having bi-weekly check-ins? Are we having monthly check-ins? It has to be defined. It has to be defined. It can't be I will check in when I'm able. No, that does not work. It has to be defined. So there has to be a defined structure. We're having weekly check-ins, like I said. Will it be on chat? Going back to my example, he had to send me either an email or a WhatsApp message of his activities. How many pages did you read? What did you learn? So it wasn't just even to come and tell me I read 10 pages. I needed to know, in reading these 10 pages, did you learn anything at all? Any new learnings? Or is it just that you just read 10 pages of a book? Okay, so define the structure. Define the structure. Then once you have defined the structure, it is very important. Very important that you clarify the stakes. Very important. That is, agree on the consequences. This is why it's good for the person that is your accountability partner to possibly be someone that's a little ahead of you. Yeah. So that the person can enforce the consequences. So the person can enforce the consequences. You have to agree that if I don't do X, then I must do Y. Um, Going back to the book reading example that I've been using since for this session, the young man, of course, listed out how many books, how many pages he was going to read each day. And by the end of 2 weeks, he should have read this many pages. Now, excuse me, one of the consequences that we agreed on what he cannot carry over, as in, if for any reason he's falling behind, before he sends in that report, he must cover it up. He's not allowed to carry over. You cannot carry over. That was one of the things we agreed. So, if for any reason you did not complete the number of pages you were meant to read, one, of course, you have to tell me the reason. You must tell me the reason. And it can't just be, I wasn't able to know. That will not cut it. I will not even accept that as an excuse. There must be a cogent reason why you did not complete the number of pages. There has to be a cogent reason. And then, if I'm trying to, if for any reason, let's assume you're supposed to have finished this book this week so that you can start another one next week, and you didn't, know that you're still going to start the next book. So now you're reading two books at the same time. So these are like some of the consequences. It depends on what the accountability is on that will determine the consequences, but let those things be agreed. Clarify what the stakes are. I hope you can still hear me. And even as you're agreeing the consequences, also make sure that you celebrate the wins. Celebrate the wins. Let there be some kind, even if the reward is just something not too serious, let me say. But let there be some kind of reward. Let there be some kind of celebrating of wins. Even if it's just good job, even if it's anything really, anything. Ensure that, I don't know what you're saying yes to on Facebook, but I'm saying yes. So celebrate the wins, even as you agree on the consequences of not keeping up to the terms of the accountability. Then, after you have clarified the stakes, you need to keep that. You have to keep the accountability system purpose linked. I mean, ordinarily, nobody starts any kind of journey without having a why. Ordinarily. So remind yourself, keep reminding yourself of that why in the accountability system. Ensure that the why does not get lost. Ensure that the why does not get lost. Even if it's just once in a while, truly asking yourself, why did we start this journey? It helps. But ensure that it is purpose linked. Ensure that you keep the whole journey purpose linked. The accountability purpose linked. Why did we go into this accountability system? Why did we start it? What purpose is it serving? And ensure that you don't deviate as much as possible from that purpose. It's also good to share, testimonies, not just targets, not just, oh, these are my targets and you must achieve them. No, share the journey. Share the journey. Share how you achieved those targets. Oh, okay, okay, you're confirming that you can hear me. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, all right, so share the journey. Let it not just be targets, you understand? Yeah. So with these few points of mine, as they say, I hope that I've been able to convince us and not confuse us that in your bid to achieve your goals, in your bid to imbibe some habits that will make your year productive, that will make your life generally productive, you do need accountability. It's essential that you have accountability. It is important that you have someone or somewhere that you can be held accountable, somewhere that you can kind of track your journey. Because another thing that accountability does for you is that it helps you track your journey so that you know how far you have come. You will know what you have achieved and what you are yet to achieve. That is another thing that accountability does for you. So, truly, truly, accountability helps. I can't, I can't even say it enough, but it does help. I've given my own examples. I could not have read the number of books I read if I wasn't in the Model Foundation, Model Women Mentorship Group. I wouldn't have. I know myself. Wouldn't have. One. Then two, some of the things I've done, including these live sessions, I wouldn't have started them. It was, remember that these live sessions was as a result of a challenge on that mentorship platform. I know people on that platform that started businesses and did so much. And it was simply, okay, thank you, Coach Ify, for also confirming that you can hear me. It was simply because someone was holding us accountable. Someone was holding us accountable. At the beginning of each month, we would write down our goals for that month. What did we want to achieve? Okay, quarter. It was quarterly, sorry. But we'll still break it down to months. But we'll write our goals for the quarter. What do we want to achieve in this quarter? And then we break that quarterly goals down to, to monthly. But know that at the end of every month, at the end of every quarter, you're going to write a report on the goals you set at the beginning. How far did you go? So see, that is accountability. It had a structure. It had a structure. It had a follow-up. If you I'm trying to remember the exact rules now. I think if you miss sending in your report twice, you must leave. You will leave the mentorship. You will leave. So there was, consequences, and you knew it from the beginning. If you don't participate in the weekly programs, you will also be excused from the mentorship. So the consequences were known. They were known from the beginning. So you know, um, if you can't meet up, you drop. So, but I know that that group helped me achieve a lot. It helped me knowing that I had to report to someone, knowing that I have someone to say you have not, and Pastor Favor will tell you did not do well. No sugarcoating, no sugarcoating of it. So, like I said, when with these things that I have discussed with us, we can see that it is essential for us to have an accountability system. It must not be a mentor. It must not be, let it not be as if I'm trying to um, um, put this in a box. You can your accountability partner can be your friend, but ensure that it's a friend that will tell you the truth. That is where I am coming from. It has to be a friend that will tell you the truth, a friend that will be able to, enforce the discipline that we have agreed. You can't have an accountability partner that cannot hold you accountable. Is that an accountability partner? No. So It doesn't have to, like I said, have to be a mentor. It can be a friend. Your pastor can hold you accountable for spiritual progress, for spiritual things. Definitely. Um, it can even be a sibling. It's up to you who is your accountability partner. But the important thing is to ensure that that accountability partner is someone that can truly hold you accountable. Is someone that can truly hold you accountable. Okay, so with that, we have come to the end of this session. There is something hmm. So the challenge for this week, one, I think I'm going to make it two different challenges. One, what is one habit that you need accountability for? One habit that you need accountability for in this week. What is that one habit? You can share it in the comment section if you want, or you can send it to me, directly in my DM. What is one habit that you need accountability for? Then, what structure will help you stay on track? Do you know that when we say structure, it could be just marking this thing off on the calendar. That is the structure. So, one habit that you need accountability for this week, what structure will help you stay on track? Remember, you can send this to my DM, you can comment in the comment section, and then find an accountability partner. Find an accountability partner. Find someone that will hold you accountable for your growth. Someone that will hold you accountable for your growth. My apologies, I'm yawning. For those of us that know, I don't know if you know what is omugwo. If you're in Nigeria, you know what is omugwo. So that is why I'm yawning. Okay, so our takeaway activities for this week. One, what one habit do you need accountability for this week? Two, what structure will help you stay on track? And three, find your accountability partner. Find an accountability partner, someone that will hold you accountable to achieve the goals that you have set, to achieve the vision, the plan that you have. This is mid-year. June is gone. By next week or so, June is ending, I believe. Okay, upper week. Next, in 2 weeks, Monday, 2 Mondays from now, June is done. So we have gone halfway in this year. We have gone halfway in this year. So find an accountability partner. Find someone that will hold you accountable for your goals, your vision. I can be your accountability partner. Definitely, I can. So if you want me to be your accountability partner, do let me know. I will be your accountability partner. But when you come, we'll now know whether your own will be a free or a paid accountability, because you know it depends on what you need me to do for you. Actually, that'll determine whether it's free or it is paid. Okay, I think we will bring it to a close here. Thank you all once again for joining me. If you're on Facebook, you can actually subscribe to my page on Facebook. I think I'll have to post that details again. I had done a post on it earlier, but maybe I have to post the details so you can subscribe to my page on Facebook if you're on Facebook. But remember to follow us on all our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Growth Habits with Ngozi, along with my own personal page. I've been trying to get these live sessions to be from our Facebook page. That is Growth Habits with Ngozi. It worked once, but since then it has not worked. So I don't know why. I really don't know why. I'll have to figure out what is happening with that. So we're on Facebook, Growth Habits with Ngozi, and then my personal page, Ngozi Omochiloba. We're on Instagram, Growth Habits with Ngozi, my personal page, Ngozi Ka. We're on TikTok, Growth Habits with Ngozi. We're on YouTube, Growth Habits with Ngozi. We're on LinkedIn, Ngozi Onwucheloba. So thank you once again. Remember, follow us everywhere. Follow us everywhere, especially our YouTube page, because that is where all our videos are. All the past ones, they're there. The future ones, they will be there. Facebook deletes the videos after a while now, so it's not here. It's not kept on Facebook anymore. So follow us on YouTube, Growth Habits with Ngozi. Okay. All right. Thank you once again for joining me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your being here. I appreciate your spending this 1 hour with me. Those that watch the replay, God bless you. Thank you so much for always supporting us. Remember to make today and every day count. Be valuable and grow. Thank you once again, and do have an awesome, awesome day.